and welcome back to Flint Hills. I'm Jeff. So what a year 2021 has been. Firstly, sorry for not posting any updates throughout the year. So what has been happening and where have you been, I hear you cry? Well, I've still managed to do some work on the layout, which I will show you very soon. However, I have had other priorities with home and at work. I won't bore you with work, so what's been happening here, which is an enabler to the future of Flint Hills and future Flint Hills. So let's carry on where we left off in December 2020. And over the New Year break and not being able to get away to go skiing, we did that terrible thing of chatting about life and future plans for what we wanted to do, retirement. Result being, we decided to look to move house. After 4 months of looking, we come to another decision and decided to stay where we are for now, but instead to make those improvements here instead. One of the things I was looking to get from the move was to get some outbuildings so I could look to build a workshop and have a room for the layout. So what happened next I blame on a fellow YouTuber, the Grailer, of Blackwood Engage layout. Only joking, Ewan. So here's what's happened. So the first project was to build a new workshop, and as you can see, looking at the old shed here, it's certainly not fit for purpose as a new workshop. So I set about demolishing the decking, and it didn't take too long. Get the old good saw going, and yeah, very quickly the decking was all cleared away, and I had to set about putting new posts in. So I levelled the ground and inserted some concrete blocks to rest the frame on, and put some damp proof down in, and built the new frame. And in the frame I put 100mm of Celotex for insulation, and it gives you a better view of the insulation. Once that was down, I put a floor on top of that, special floor, so it doesn't actually rot with any water. All the walls were made from a 4x2 external timber, and erected with screws and also with some nails. Then the back was actually stood up and again screwed down to the floor, and I made up a big triangle square so I could keep everything square, and as you can see all the rest of the walls were done. And then I went round the whole thing, and it was wrapped in an 18mm ply before putting the weatherproof sheeting on the outside. And there's a view from the top, and you can actually see there is a fall. The front is higher than the back. Then I constructed the roof in a similar way, 4x2s going across with the ladders on each side, and plenty of room at the front for putting lights in over the new decking that was going to go in front. So the roof was constructed using the 18mm strand board, all glued together with a fascia. And then as you can see on the top now, I've gone for a new type of roof, which was the EPMD rubber roof, which I think actually has given a really good effect, and it's made it totally waterproof. With the roof on, I decided now was the good time to do the first fix for the electrics, and to put all the insulation into the walls, and to then fix the double glazed door and the double glazed window in situ. And it started now to take shape as the workshop come train room. We decided to go for a nice red cedar half log to give it that real nice log cabin effect. As we'd spent a few pounds on this, we wanted to carry on and give it the quality we thought it deserved. Please note the pond just on the right here. This comes to give me some issues soon. So with the outside nearly completed, I turned my attention to the inside, and we plasterboarded all the walls, dry lined it, tape, and give it a good coat of paint, and yeah, that's where we were, and that's how we expected the workshop come train room to finish. However, things was not as meant to be. With the inside now completed, my focus turned to just finishing off the outside by putting the decking round the sides and the front. However, the pond was also meant to now have the decking, but as we can see here, I identified the pond had a terrible leak and all the wood had gone rotten. So I had to take the pond to bits quickly and get rid of all that wood, and decided to put the fish into a temporary pond. So very quickly I had to go about building a new pond, and as you can see here, I threw the wood idea away and I went with a concrete block, 6 foot by 6 foot approximately. But it gave me the idea that I could actually now move all the filtration system that was on the pond into the log cabin, and therefore we could make the log cabin the filter house. So I moved all the pond filters into the log cabin, which meant I gave up on the idea of having that as a train room with all that water in there, and then just carried on and finished it all off and covered the pond in the black cladding that the rest of the log cabin have been done. And overall, now I'm really pleased with it. It looks really happy, and the log cabin is now a workshop. I have a bench in there for all my tools, and the fish are also really happy outside. So, having given up on the idea of using the log cabin as the train room, where now for the train room? Well, I'm pleased to report the new train room is now actually going to be where it's been sited temporarily. So the bedroom that it was in has now been cleared of everything to do with the bedroom, and now this is the permanent site for the train room. And this is Flint Hills one, as you can see. I've put all new shelves up. That's the stock, and then gradually as we go around, I've got boxes of buildings and cork and keep my spare parts. I've got trains up there, magazines, glues, paints, maintenance shelf with a test bed on and a rolling road, and now I've got my bench so I can actually do all my soldering on the bench there and repair anything that needs repairing. So yeah, the idea is to have this now as a permanent layout going right round the entire walls, and this will be Flint Hills 2. So Flint Hills 2 is sort of in design, and the idea will be 2-tier, so I can keep all the stock on the bottom and run round on top. And it will be similarly based to Flint Hills 1 with a mainline station, but obviously we'll have a much bigger footprint to go around. So Flint Hills 1 has been great. As I said, it was always going to be a test site to learn from, and it still needs a lot to do to finish it, which I will continue to do in the short term. So this is what I've been doing with the allotment since last year. So it's nearly finished. I've added some trees now and bushes all round, and as you can see, I've actually put 4 allotments in, put all the vegetables in place, a couple of greenhouses, so it's actually started to look more like an allotment. I've got some figures to add soon. So having done a lot of work on the allotment, I thought it was about time I focused on the station car park. I put some paper down and did some rough drawings of where I think everything would fit, and where the car park would be, and this is then what it started to look like. The road surface itself is just wet and dry paper with lines and paint on to give it that oily look. I've then added some trees and some line side fencing and Scenics, and now along with some lighting to make it look really nice in the dark. I just now need to add some people to the scene. So let's have a look at the other scenic work I've been doing on Flint Hills. So moving away from the car park, there is the old coal siding which is long gone, and I've
use this as a track for network rail vehicles to access the track work, and I've done a little muddy track, and I've tried to recreate where the old points would have been as well. I hope you can see that effect, to try and simulate that scenario. Likewise, on the other side of the layout, from the signal box and the transformer area, I've just tried to put the static grass and put the hedging along to try and match in with the scenery just before the bit of a TMD there. So yeah, that's another area which I've just done the static grass and tidied up. And on the Flint Hills area, there's lots more trees. I've put the static grass down, but as you can see, lots more trees to go in. And we've gone green. We've got the wind turbine to power everything, so that's running nicely now. And I think once those trees have gone into that scene, it will look better. More work needs doing on the TMD at this end. I've made a start. I've been putting some lights all in. These are 4 aspects on each of those lights, and they do throw out quite a bit of light, which is good. And I've put some lights in the buildings, and I've put some lights in where the car park is going to be up at the top. So I'm just fiddling with bits to see how it's going to look, and then I can start to add some characters to complete the scene.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that little update on what's been happening around Flint Hills and the wider building work that's enabled this permanent railway room. I'll be posting some more updates very soon regarding some stocks that I've purchased, and ones which I think are good and ones that I think are very poor. And as we move forward, I'll now be able to share with you the future designs and build of Flint Hills in this room, plus all the mistakes and the corrections. It will be DCC, and in time it will be fully automated. So I will have the time now to do it this time right from the start, whereas obviously when I did this layout I didn't have the YouTube channel set up in time. So yeah, it should be a learning curve for all of us. So please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and to leave any feedback. So I'll see you all very soon, and lastly, I'd like to wish you all a happy new year, and fingers crossed we'll start to see you all at the shows. Take care. Cheers.